How many kids do they have to round up, torture, kill? When the hell does it stop?
It stops when we find a cure.
The world is falling victim to a plague that's wiping out humanity. An organization known as Wicked has been conducting inhumane experiments on the immune for many years. Thomas, Newt, and a group of many others resisting Wicked launch an operation to rescue their friend Minho, as well as other immune children being held prisoner by Wicked. The good. The action sequences in this movie are both fun and very well produced. The line between what's a practical set or effect and what's CGI is very blurred. Most of the time, both the environment and the characters look very tangible, meaning that we get fights that feel violent and stunts that feel dangerous, which is especially good considering the characters are running around on trains and jumping out of buildings. Also keeping up the tension is the fact that the physical effects of the situation the characters are thrown into are very well realized in how they look. Most of the time, they appear adequately beaten, disheveled, and exhausted. This movie makes a good effort to challenge some of its major characters. In and of itself, we can see that Wicked's intention to find a cure is a good thing. It's just that their methods in trying to procure it are very harsh. Seeing characters like Thomas, Ava Page, and Teresa trying to navigate these circumstances while also taking into account the history that these characters have with each other, it's probably the most layered part about this movie. The iffy. You've all heard this before, but I'll say it again. Haven't read the book, don't know if it's accurate to the book. A very common trope is important characters refusing to leave each other behind even at the expense of the bigger picture. This trope is very easy for an ordinary person to sympathize with, which is why it's used in storytelling so much. That being said, the entire premise of this movie is more or less centered around that, and it's used enough in this movie in other situations that, to be honest, the trope kind of tested my patience. The bad. Being the finale of a movie trilogy, there are some important characters who don't make it to the end credits, including one of my favorite characters. For the record, that's not actually a criticism. I'm just upset. Regarding their deeds and history over the course of this franchise, I'm a little unsure on how to feel about Wicked. Obviously, this story paints Wicked as the bad guys. I mean, it's right in the name. But as I watched the story unfold, it came to a point where it seemed like the solution to everything was a bit simpler than they were making it out to be, and could have been accomplished without Wicked being so young adult dystopian about it. In a story about human extinction, there's bound to be some drama, but when you factor what Wicked has done over the course of this series against what the resolution ends up being, I can't help but feel that a lot of the story is rendered superfluous by the resolution being what it is. Maybe I'm interpreting it wrong, maybe there's some factors in previous stories I'm not taking into account properly, but that's just what I'm getting out of it. The verdict? The Maze Runner was mysterious and suspenseful. The Scorch Trials explained the situation and kept the tension high. And now, with the Death Cure, we've reached our conclusion. Perhaps it's because it's been 2.5 years since I've seen the other movies, but I felt emotionally distant while watching the Death Cure. Not disconnected, but enough so that I felt lukewarm about the experience. It was well shot, well performed, and occasionally pretty entertaining, especially during the action sequences. It just wasn't a movie that I was super ecstatic to be watching. This is Detective Steve, wrapping up what might be the final loose end in the young adult film adaptation trend. At least for now.